Hello and welcome to Heart Shaped HR Jobseeker Edition. We're here today with Rebecca Schwartz. Rebecca is in the Seattle, Washington area, works virtually, has for about a decade now, as she will tell you here shortly. But she's looking to continue in the virtual space. Rebecca is looking in the L&D, the learning and development space, but unfortunately was part of what we're seeing a lot of these days, layoffs across the U.S. So let's get the word out, Rebecca. Let's just shine a light on that wonderful personality of yours, and let's get right into it. Welcome.
Thanks, Kate. Happy to be here.
I'm glad to be with you. So we talked about a couple of questions that we're going to discuss today. So let me just dive in here and we'll chip away at these.
Okay, great.
Throughout your life, which accomplishment or award would you say stands out most for you?
It's such a good question, and I had a few to choose from, but the one that really stands out the most happened when I was working at T-Mobile, and a colleague nominated me for the Peak Award, which is a really big deal. When you win, all of your managers parade out and present you with a pineapple because the prize is an all expenses paid week-long vacation in Hawaii for you and your plus one.
Oh, that's tremendous.
It really is, and it's a really big deal. It's the kind of thing where you mean it when you say it's an honor just to be nominated, which is a good thing because I didn't get the pineapple. But what made it stand out was the reason my colleague nominated me. And at first, I didn't know why, because all I did was push back on an edit she had proposed to a video that we were planning to use in a leadership development course.
Okay.
The edit was minor, but I felt like it could significantly change the meaning of what the person was saying and dilute her message. So when I explained this, my colleague not only completely agreed with me and undid the edit, but she also nominated me for Peak. And what she said in her nomination was that I demonstrated integrity and was showing T-Mobile's value of doing the right thing the right way. And the values are also a really big deal at T-Mobile. And it just so happened that we were working on a course about the T-Mobile values, which was a mandatory 2-day training for all new T-Mobile employees. That's how seriously T-Mobile takes the values. So to be nominated by a colleague I respected, and for that reason, really was an honor.
Well, that shows your values too,
Mhm.
and your ability to stand up for what's right and to help others. I mean, when you speak up, you're helping other people grow. So you put aside your own discomfort because that's not often a comfortable situation to be in, to
Exactly.
have to say that to someone.
Mhm.
And you did that and you boldly made a better change. So pineapple to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm gonna drop Rebecca's LinkedIn, uh, um, her LinkedIn code here. So if you want to check her out, please do as I move forward on to our next question. What do you wish to change about the workforce of America?
That is a big question, and I thought about this a lot. And what came to mind first was a shift in how we treat work-life balance in this country. I mean, I like to think that I'm really good at time management, and that might be true. But
Mhm.
what I really am is very lucky and privileged to be able to get the kinds of jobs where I can work flexible hours. I can take time off for my family. I can take vacations. I can address health issues without being bankrupted. So I wish that we could figure out a way to take luck and privilege out of the equation so that every member of the workforce would be able to enjoy these kinds of benefits like I do.
What a great answer. I could tell you did give that one some thought.
I am more too.
Mm.
I also wish that the workforce of America included everyone. Anyone
Yeah.
who wants to work, especially more people with disabilities and a broader range of educational backgrounds in all kinds of jobs. And that every job would come not only with a living wage, but also with dignity and with respect. Because behind every big, fancy, visible job, there's dozens or thousands of more humble,
Yes.
invisible jobs that I think more people would be willing to do and do well if they were only treated fairly and humanely. So I know that that can sound kind of idealistic or maybe naive, but if any of my skills and abilities could be put to use in that effort, then I'd feel very fulfilled in my career.
Oh. If more folks had that type of mentality and were all working toward that, it wouldn't seem like such an idealistic, you know.
Hmm.
Okay. So how would you say that the pandemic has shaped or changed your career preferences?
Well, like you said, I've been working from home, working remotely since before it was mainstream, and
Right.
interesting to watch my friends and colleagues catch up to the quirks of remote work. And the situation has forced some great improvements in the tools we use to collaborate online. And we could talk for a whole nother hour about all the cool virtual stuff that's happened in the last few years and where it's going next. But that's not a change for me. I've always been interested in that stuff. In fact, I think that's how we met. I reached out to you about to learn more about all the cool virtual stuff we were doing. But what was new for me was, I spent a lot of time in my own neighborhood working from home. I get to go for walks and look around, and I see a lot of changes. And I would see more and more businesses getting boarded up, and then comes the graffiti, and we've got homeless encampments that are spilling into the parks, which are vacant because the kids weren't allowed to play there. And so I had this visual evidence right in my backyard that the pandemic has been increasing the gap between the haves and the have-nots. So my work life didn't really change, but many people's whole careers just evaporated almost overnight. So that's really got me thinking about the kind of organization I want to work for next and the kind of work that I want to do next. And I'm looking at job opportunities a little differently, really trying to see beyond the snapshot of their immediate needs to their mission and purpose, and prioritizing a strong alignment there.
I love that. It's interesting what I'm doing with HR, Rebecca, is, helping job seekers to create these video cover letters. But on the corporate side, I'm helping them to come up with a process that's not so cold,
Mhm.
and using video content and bringing the heart and humanity into that process. And in your process so far, are you seeing a lot of heart and humanity?
Not as much as I'd like. I mean, when you look at the same kinds of jobs over and over again, the descriptions start to seem like really cookie cutter.
Yeah.
But I can tell, and it moves me when I see a job description that really tries to speak to the unique person that they're looking for, and the company's own value proposition and what they're hoping to change about the world. And so that's what I'm looking for. And if I skim those job ads the same way y'all
Yes.
skim my resume. So I'm looking for those things that stand out.
Okay. Good to know. So what would you say is your work style, Rebecca?
I would say I'm organized,
Mhm.
independent, and adaptable. So I can go into some details on those. So organized. A coach that I worked with once said that my defining characteristic is creating order out of chaos. So I
Nice.
love to make lists and spreadsheets to help me focus and prioritize, keep all the little details in one place and on track. I've created tools to help me track and forecast sales, allocate and schedule resources, manage project timelines. I even use spreadsheets to plan holiday dinners and log my jigsaw puzzle solving. I could use the data to tell you exactly how many puzzle pieces I've put together so far in 2022 and the top brands of puzzles that I enjoy.
I love that. Your background on your LinkedIn
Is a
is the
puzzle.
puzzle
Yeah.
pieces. I loved
Yeah.
that. Yes.
That was an all white puzzle that I did, 1,000 pieces, no picture, just solid white. So
That
that's the kind of
speaks
thing I do
volumes
for
to
fun.
me. Yeah, you have patience and
Yeah.
drive, just that alone.
Yeah.
Were there
And
others you were gonna mention?
Yeah, so that's organized, independent. So I think I do my best work in environments where I can work independently, but I also need the support of management and peers when it's appropriate to collaborate.
Mhm.
So I thrive in environments where there's a strong sense of teamwork and where people get to know one another and celebrate one another for their personal achievements as well as project work. I mean, we spend so much of the day with one another. It's important to be able to bring your whole self to work and not have to compartmentalize or put on a persona. So I value a little humor or even silliness at work, but knowing that we all take work really seriously and are committed to being the best at what we do. And then adaptable. So the only constant is change. You've heard that before, and I accept that. Priorities change, needs change, organizations change. So you got to be able to adapt. So I'm down with it. I'll do whatever's needed, but you have to tell me why I'm doing it. So, how
Ooh,
is this going to help us achieve our goals?
yes.
I think when it comes to organizational changes, a lot of companies forget about communicating the why behind the what.
Mhm.
And I think my need to know the why is one of the reasons I'm good at training and needs analysis. Just keep asking why till you get to the root cause.
I like that. I like that, and just having that reminder. We all like to know the why.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a pretty realistic, expectation for everyone, from leadership
Mhm,
down.
mhm.
All right, my final question for you. What motivates you, and what are you looking for in your next role?
I feel really grateful that I got laid off at a moment when I could have the time and opportunity to really deeply reflect on how I want to add value in my next role. So, some of the themes that have come out of this are one, analysis, like we talked about. I'm always asking why, always trying to make sense of things so that as a learning and development person, I can turn around and shape experiences that help others make sense of things too. So some examples might be using past sales data to forecast how much we're going to make this year. Allocating resources, we talked about that so we can get all the projects done on time. Or my favorite, reverse engineering processes and procedures. I like to take stuff apart so I can put it back together differently for better results. So that's analysis. Two, integrity. I always try to provide the best products and services I can for the time and budget that I have. I never stretch the truth with clients or stakeholders about what my team and I can do, how far we've gotten, how far we'll get, or whether or not we were the best fit to solve their problem in the first place. So that's what integrity means to me.
I like that one.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And authenticity. I need to be able to feel like I can bring my whole self to work. We all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses too. So a sense of humor and humility in the workplace is important to me. But most importantly, like we've talked about, I'm looking for a way to have a meaningful impact on people in their everyday lives, whether it's at school, at work, at home, in their families and communities. I should say people or animals. I'm here for the animals too.
Oh, I love it. We talked a little bit about that before we
Yeah.
got started here. So, that being said, is there a particular company or handful of companies that your mind automatically goes to that you're like, "Oh, I just always felt this passion or this, I had this place in my heart for said company."
No, I don't wanna necessarily name any names. I mean, there
Okay.
definitely are a few, but really it's more about that whole vibe that we were talking about
Yes.
and how the organization presents itself and its mission and how they're helping to make the world a better place. So I'm looking for that alignment there.
Okay, okay. So you're saying that if you as a job seeker saw some video content that spoke to those particular things,
Yeah,
that would entice you as a job seeker to move forward
absolutely.
in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thanks for the great work that you're doing in this space, Kate. I appreciate it.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. I would love to to bridge this gap to make some things happen here. It's very disheartening to see all of the layoffs that are happening right now. It's extremely disheartening.
Yeah,
So,
there's some along with I just wanted to add to along with my own layoff. I was with a group of people, and including a really fantastic manager and just some really, really talented people that makes you scratch your head and go, "What? Like, how did that
yeah,
even happen?"
yeah,
And I
yeah,
know it's a heartbreaking decision for managers too, because they have to do that, and it's upsetting, but
it
sometimes
is.
that's what you got to do.
Right. I certainly don't envy them
Yeah.
having to do that. I certainly don't. Okay, so folks, we want to make sure that you are finding Rebecca. You can find Rebecca Schwartz on LinkedIn. I'll drop that here again. You'll be able to find this video on Heart Shaped HR's YouTube channel, on TikTok, on Spotify. We want to make sure that you can find this information whenever you need it. And do please be a good a good human and pass the word along and help Rebecca and others in the world right now who are dealing with these layoffs, and let's help people.
Thanks,
So,
Kate.
oh, I greatly appreciate your time. All right, Rebecca, take care.
You too.
Thank you.